Hello there and welcome to this episode of Ignition Time, everyone. I'm so happy because I have good news to report to you. New reporting has just emerged that the $1.9 trillion American Rescue Plan is expected to sail through the House. This is good news, everyone. Let's just jump right in. My name is Dr. Chhoda with Ignition Time. Welcome to my channel. Thank you so much for being a viewer. Thank you so much for being a subscriber. In this video, I'll take you behind the scenes of what is expected to happen in the House in the next 24 to 48 hours. Now, this stimulus plan was expected to pass in the House tomorrow, but it's actually expected to now pass in the House on Wednesday simply because of logistical reasons, because the Senate, believe it or not, has still not sent the appropriate paperwork over to the House. Now, there were some rumblings from progressives within the Democratic Party, because keep in mind, House Speaker Pelosi has a razor-thin majority. She can only afford 4 defections from Democrats in the House. If there are more than 4 defections, there is a chance that this will not pass the House. But the good news is that the progressives are saying they are on board. They're not happy that the $15 an hour minimum wage is gone. They're not happy with the curtailing, if you will, of the unemployment benefits. But it's not that bad that they won't back it. So I have new reporting for you. In fact, let's show you this article on your screen from Bloomberg. Biden's giant stimulus to easily pass the House, according to Democrats, including progressive Democrats, and progressives will still back the bill despite some changes in the Senate that they did not like, that they did not appreciate. And this will be a $1.9 trillion jolt to the economy, everyone. So this is a good thing. This is very encouraging. If you've been following my channel, I've always been in favor of more help to those who need it the most. So this does seem that we are now starting to see essentially the setup, if you will, of this entire bill passing the House. House Speaker Pelosi said yesterday that this bill will pass the House. This is what House Speaker Pelosi said in a letter to Democrats yesterday. She said, in 2 days, the House will have a resounding, hopefully bipartisan vote for justice. We can then send it to the president and move quickly to distribute its life-saving resources. Now, keep in mind that the timeline for the passage of the bill in the House will slip to Wednesday. It was supposed to happen tomorrow. But here's the thing, in case you're wondering, why does this have to go to the House? Well, the House version of the bill went to the Senate, then it went through many changes in the Senate. The $15 an hour was taken away. There were some provisions introduced, which were good provisions. There were some provisions taken away. There was some curtailing of the unemployment benefits. So now that changed version of the bill has to pass the House. The way things work is the same bill has to pass the House and the Senate, and then it can go to the president. Then when the president signs it, it becomes law. So now that we have a changed bill, we are not going to see House Democrats saying, no, I want $15 an hour. I want it to be $400 a week. We're not going to see that because there's no time. There's no time. The president needs to sign it as quickly as possible. Otherwise, the March 14 deadline, which is fast approaching, is going to pass, and that would result in millions of our fellow Americans losing unemployment benefits. So this is what is expected to happen. Here's a quote from the budget chairman, John Yarmouth, who was a chief architect of the American Rescue Plan. He said that the bill will pass. He said, I don't think there is any trouble when in fact, let me show you the quote on your screen. He said, what Democrat is going to vote against a bill that cuts poverty by a third, expands child credit, and SNAP, gives $1,400 to 80% of their constituents. Now, in fact, Goldman Sachs has actually predicted, and you see this chart on your screen right here from Goldman, that payrolls will approach 150 million by year end. What does that mean? The bottom line is that Goldman Sachs and many other economists are predicting that we will see a surge in employment. And the good news, according to the Goldman Sachs group, is that economists see the unemployment rate going down to 4.1% by the end of the year, which is very encouraging. And they feel that, as you probably know, it was 6.2% at the start of the year in February last month. But the official unemployment rate is projected to be closer to 10%, but they do see it dropping to 4.1% by the end of the year. Remember, before the pandemic, we were at 3%. So this would mean an almost total recovery by the end of the year. Now, I want to be clear. I know individuals in travel, leisure, entertainment, and hospitality have lost their jobs, in some cases permanently. And I understand, and I work hard every day to provide you with the information, but I'm trying to provide you with the global information in this video. Goldman Sachs sees employment, not unemployment. They see employment climbing by more than 6 million in 2021, making up for much of the 9.4 million jobs that were lost last year. So according to Moody's Analytics chief economist Mark Zandi, he said, growth will be rip-roaring during the coming year. Very interesting comments. And, again, there were some concerns from progressives, that there were some concerns that progressive Democrats would be like, no, we don't like this. Now, there are still some people that don't like the fact that there were changes in the Senate version of the bill. They don't like the fact that even though Democrats had a majority, that the $15 an hour was killed by some Democrats. They don't like the fact that $400 a week in unemployment benefits was cut back to $300, which again was a direct result of Joe Manchin, the Democrat. I call him the conservative Democrat from West Virginia. So again, these changes are, in the grand scheme of things, I quote, minor. This was a quote used by one of the Democrats. But there are some Democrats who are still unhappy. And on the other hand, there are Democrats and there are a lot of progressives who are happy. So here's a quote from Ellen Scielis, who's a spokesperson for a group called the Sunrise Movement, which is a group devoted to fighting climate change. They did criticize the exclusion of a minimum wage, and because that was a priority for a lot of progressives. But here's a quote. The passage of this stimulus package is historic. It's a big shift from 2009 and shows that Biden has the potential to be an FDR president. Interesting, big statement. However, it's an embarrassment that Democrats in full control of Congress and the White House could not pass a $15 an hour minimum wage that they promised. So, this is where things are. And, Chuck Schumer has said that if there's any change in the House, it's going to cause a lot of trouble, because if there's a change in the House, which I don't think there will be, if there's a change in the House, the bill will have to go back to the Senate and pass the Senate all over again. And so that's why what Chuck Schumer did is he convinced Joe Manchin, because he told Joe Manchin that if you make a major change in the Senate bill, then it's not going to pass the House, and then the whole thing could be dead. And that is how Manchin, according to Bloomberg, ultimately compromised, and I quote, backed the deal to keep aid, meaning unemployment aid, going through September. Again, there are some Democrats who are not happy. A spokesman for New Jersey, Congresswoman Bonnie Watson Coleman, said she's undecided on whether to vote for the $1.9 trillion stimulus package in the House. Here's what the spokesman said. I didn't think that when we were going to be fighting for working people, we'd be fighting with our own party. So, there are definitely some unhappy Democrats. Now, keep in mind that the Biden administration wants to focus on a Build Back Better agenda, everyone. The Build Back Better agenda is going to be their next stimulus plan, which they may also pass through budget reconciliation, which they may also pass with a simple majority of 51. Folks, right now we have 50 Democrats, we have 50 Republicans in the Senate. Now think about this. If all 50 Republicans vote against the next plan, the Build Back Better agenda, which, by the way, I don't think is going to happen, because I do believe some Republicans will support the Build Back Better agenda. This was something that not a single Republican got behind, but I am confident that more Republicans will get behind it. I don't see us getting to 66 Republicans supporting the Build Back Better agenda. Just want to be clear about that, but I do expect more than, hopefully more than a few. But as far as the Build Back Better agenda is concerned, the Democrats are saying that they will also use budget reconciliation for the Build Back Better agenda. So this is pretty interesting. The White House is already crafting the Build Back Better agenda, and that is going to include infrastructure investments. I'm talking about investments in roads, investments in bridges, investments in broadband internet, investments in artificial intelligence, some huge investments, everyone, as far as the Build Back Better agenda is concerned. So that is what the Biden administration is focusing on. And they will also focus on progressive priorities like funding for children and elder care. Now, here's a quote from the Democrat, the progressive Democrat. She's the Progressive Caucus Chair, Congressional Progressive Caucus Chair, Pramila Jayapal. This is what she tweeted. She tweeted, "There's still work to be done, but this is a crucial down payment on the $3 to $4.5 trillion in stimulus needed to fully recover." So I think, folks, it's very clear that the Democrats are simply not done, and they are turning their attention to getting other proposals in a second budget reconciliation bill, which will also, just require a simple majority, meaning, 51 senators. And again, if they get all 50 Republicans voting against it and they get all 50 Democrats voting for it, again, we have the Manchin calculation, the Manchin candidate. If you folks remember the movie The Manchurian Candidate, a pretty awesome movie with Denzel Washington, who, by the way, is one of my favorite actors of all time. But you have the Manchin candidate, and if Manchin doesn't back the Build Back Better agenda, then President Biden's going to have to pick up the phone and call him and say, hey man, what's it going to take, man? What's it going to take? Come on, Joe. It's Joe. What's up, Joe? It's Joe. It's Joe. Come on. It's Joe talking to Joe. You know me. You're Joe. I'm Joe. We need to get this done. That was an awful President Biden impersonation. But hey, don't blame me for trying in a one take video. But in the next reconciliation package, Congress is actually expected to take up the next reconciliation package, the Build Back Better agenda, before the August recess, because they all go on a long break in August. So, folks, a lot of things that lie ahead for us. Let me know what you think. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. But the good news is that the House is expected to pass the $1.9 trillion stimulus. The president is expected to sign it this week. If your electronic deposit information is on file with the IRS, you should start getting checks sometime next week electronically. But if they're going to mail you a check, it could be a few weeks before you get it. Thank you so much for watching, folks. I want you to know that I work very hard. I work very hard for our viewers and subscribers. And all I ask of you is please do me a favor. Please click the like button. Please subscribe. Please enable notifications. That would mean a great deal to me. And I believe that this is going to pass the House. If not Wednesday, no later than Thursday. If I was betting, I would say it passes the House on Wednesday. It is not going to pass the House tomorrow, unfortunately, because again, paperwork from the United States Senate regarding the bill has still not come over to the House. So it is not going to pass tomorrow. But this bill is expected to pass on Wednesday. I expect the president to sign it no later than Thursday. And then I expect all the preparations to begin from the IRS, because that's when it becomes law. That's when the U.S. Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen instructs the IRS to start sending out the money. That's when all the state unemployment systems start updating their systems to start sending out checks. By the way, please share this video if you're learning something new. This is good news. So the state unemployment systems will reprogram their systems to continue providing $300 a week up until September. That is where things stand right now, everybody. Listen, like I said, I work hard on this channel to bring you the latest news, to bring you news that impacts you, that impacts the country, the economy, and your money. All I ask of you, because this content comes to you at no charge, all I ask of you is you please click the like button, please subscribe, please enable notifications. That would mean a lot to me. Also comment below and let me know what you think below. But this is incredible news. No progressive Democrat is going to sabotage this bill. House Speaker Pelosi and Chuck Schumer have made sure that they have enough support for this bill to, I quote, sail through, which is essentially what the Bloomberg article told us, as well as important comments from House Speaker Pelosi, as well as other individuals, including Dick Durbin and progressives like Pramila Jayapal. So that is where things stand right now, everybody. Listen, one last time, I really appreciate you watching. If you want to help me, please click the like button, please subscribe, please enable notifications. I'm looking forward to seeing you in the next episode of Ignition Time. Thank you so much, and I'm looking forward to talking to you soon. Take care. Bye.